Peace party, people. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Let the Record Show. I am Mike Pizzo.
I am Warren Peace.
Today's special guest is...
DJ Newmark.
Word up.
DJ Newmark, yes.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, DJ Newmark?
No.
Yes.
Come on, let's... Cut Chemist, everybody.
Yes.
How's it going?
Great to have you here. And basically, you gave us a list like 4 hours ago of like your favorite songs of all time.
I mean, you know...
Or some of them.
Over the phone, you're like, I need them right now. I said,
Peace,
this one,
So
and
you railed off like
one.
25 records maybe.
Mm-hmm.
In the short time, I pulled a bunch from my archive. We pulled some from some other archives, and we picked some up at the store, and I think we did pretty good.
I think so.
I'm happy
I was
with
thinking about the choices, and I'm like, do I still stick by them? And, you know, the funny thing is you go through the years collecting records, and you find obscure records, and you hope to find better records than the ones you already know, but I always find myself going to the same records every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those were them.
All right.
So
Awesome.
Well, now we're going to play those records and let the record show.
let's let the record show.
All right.
It's the joy.
All right, first on your list, you gave me, you said something off of Paul's Boutique, and we discussed it, and you ended up at Shake Your Rump. So here we have the original 12-inch with the sticker, and it's for Hey Ladies, but Shake Your Rump's also on here. Let's check this out. So you actually just did the book tour.
Yeah, I went to both the LA shows, and then they asked me to do the music curation for their gallery.
Yeah, and how was that? And was that mix that you just released?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, and tell us about that.
So they basically gave me a list of like about, it seemed like damn near 200 songs, and I got to choose as many as I could to do a little over an hour long mix.
Yeah.
Well,
And
most
so,
of them from the book, the ones they mentioned in the book? Or
some,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely somewhere on the lists.
Okay.
Right.
But then there was some other weird ones, like there was some new stuff like drum and bass and trap stuff too. But I wanted to keep it as specific to 80s
Okay.
Right.
hip hop and dub and funk and soul as I could. I tried to work the rock in there and like the punk stuff, but it didn't really work out for the mix. But I'm glad I didn't, because in the book tour show they cover a lot of that.
Right.
Okay.
So it was a nice balance.
Quite an honor.
Oh, it was huge. I mean,
Yeah.
You know, the Beasties is definitely top.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as groups,
Of course.
Yeah.
maybe number one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What did they do anything special like during the tour that you can tell us about? That I didn't go to a tour, so
Oh,
kind of jealous.
it's one of the best shows I've seen, actually, because
Okay.
basically it's almost like a play.
Yeah.
You know, they set it up with visuals, and then they come out and they talk about excerpts from the book.
Wow.
Mixmaster Mike is accompanying with music, and I went both nights, and it was different both nights. So
Nice.
it's not like completely scripted to where it's all
Wow.
stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was dope.
So tell us about Shake Your Rump.
Well, Shake Your Rump is part of Paul's Boutique LP,
Right.
produced by the Dust Brothers. And it's a milestone for hip-hop and sample-based music,
Yeah.
because I think they really upped the ante as far as records used, the deep crate,
Right.
you know, the selection being sampled, and then just how they arrange samples from a musicology standpoint, from like, well, for instance, you know, this bass line being in a relative key with the guitar line that comes in with the next bass line, and you know, there was a musical arrangement to it
Right.
that was more complicated than anything before it.
Yeah. It's almost like they took like what the Bomb Squad is doing, like up a level in terms
Right.
of I mean.
It was a little bit more like loop based,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas
They
you
were
know,
more choppy,
Bomb
Bomb
Squad
Squad,
was
yeah.
more noise based,
Right.
and like, but it was all, you know, I think Hank Shockley put it best, where it was like patchwork style,
Right.
Yeah.
you know, stitching things together
Yeah.
to make an arrangement, and that's what they were doing,
Right.
as well as Bomb Squad. However, this, as well as Bomb Squad being my other main, probably biggest influence
Right.
in hip hop
Yeah.
production, Dust Brothers, simply because it just sounded like they were DJing records
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
back and forth.
And this was always my gauge of like, hey, what's up? My name's Warren. What's your name? Oh, my name's so and so. Hey, what's your favorite? Paul, what do you think of Paul's Boutique? And it was either like no or I loved it.
Right.
And if they said no, I was like, all right.
I remember I was in New York when Paul's Boutique came out, and it was around the same time Straight Outta Compton came out.
Right.
Okay.
And I was at Music Factory in Times Square, Mime Records, and I remember some kid came in, and the feedback on Paul's Boutique was really lukewarm.
Right.
No one was into it.
Right.
And I was like, well, are you kidding me?
Right. Same here.
And some kid in New York said, no, that NWA one's the shit. But that Paul's Boutique is not hitting. And I was just like, New York?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And so it took a while to catch on. Now everybody's like, oh, it's
Of course.
it's up here. But
Yeah.
back then they were like, forget it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't the Beasties that anybody expected. But
Right.
that's one thing that I really respect about them is they reinvented themselves
Mm-hmm.
with each album.
Oh,
Yep.
totally.
Yep.
You know?
totally.
So that's hard to do.
All right. Beastie Boys, Shake Your Rump, and a little bit of Hey Ladies.
Paul's Boutique.
Next up, we have Public Enemy, Yo, Bum Rush the Show album, and
Rush the Show.
your cut on here was a great one. My Uzi Weighs a Ton, and this is a picture disc reissue, which I don't know how you feel about these kinds of things. I personally love these kinds of things. Like
I'll let a picture disc slide.
Okay.
Sure.
Yep. Tell us about Public Enemy, My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you about Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush the Show.
Okay.
All right.
I hated this record when I first heard it.
Wow.
I think a
Really?
lot of people will tell you that, though.
I honestly was like, I was just, my mouth just open. I was like, what is this?
But let me tell you why. Because I never heard anything like it, and it felt like a rock record.
Totally.
You know what I mean? And so I remember my man Marvsky in '87 was like, "Yo, you need to check this record out."
Yep.
And I was like, I can't even make heads or tails of this, bro.
Right.
Like, I don't even know what to do with
Yeah.
it. Of course, later, like not that much later, I think by the time Rebel came out, it all started to make sense.
It all, yeah.
Right.
Rebel was the kind of glue, because I guess it was the quote unquote single. But Rebel,
Well, it was
like,
a B-side. It
but-
wasn't even on the record. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
They
Right.
didn't put it on until the next
You're
record.
right. You're right. Yeah. But Rebel was the one that seemed like, oh, okay, I kind of see what they're doing. But for me, this song on this album was the one that.
This is the banger.
Well, right here. Here's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yep. That Aretha Franklin.
Hold it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that scratch chorus is ill. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a bona fide, like, to me, that chorus is a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done with records.
Yep.
So it's like Eat Your Heart Out premiere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was probably listening to these records going
Yeah.
like, oh, they're onto something.
Yeah.
Totally.
Let me put these scratches together to form a chorus.
Yeah.
I think this is the first song to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I was exposed to Public Enemy when I was in 6th grade and through It Takes a Nation of Millions, so I went back.
Okay.
And then, then I discovered this. And like you said, I was, I felt that they, were on such a level on It Takes a Nation that when I heard this, I was like, oh, it's not quite there. You know what I mean? Years later, I started to, like, appreciate it and understand, like, why I love this record. But
Well, you definitely can see the growth between this. And
totally.
but yeah.
But there's something so, I mean, rhyme-wise, I don't think It Takes a Nation is as hype as this.
Okay.
I think
All right.
Chuck was killing it on the rhymes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because he was
And-
more on the, like B-boy
Well,
style.
a lot of this
like,
stuff was made in
yeah.
84, 85.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you
Wow.
listen to the demo for Public Enemy #1, it's from 85.
Right.
Okay.
So, I was talking to Dante Ross, and he was telling me some stories about, like, when they were recording this record and how they pushed it back for some reasons I'm not going to get into. But I was like, damn, so that means... I was trying to date it, like, damn, that shit was so ahead of its... Like, it was already ahead of its time.
Right.
But
And
then when
that
you
was
think
a-
about, like, oh, it got pushed back?
Yeah.
Right.
You mean this album was made, like, the same time, like, Radio by Cool J was made? What the hell's going on,
Yeah. All right, Public Enemy, My Uzi Weighs a Ton.
Dig it.
Switching gears, next up we have the Beatles' endlessly copied and parodied album cover, Abbey Road. And your cut on here was I Want You. She's
Yep.
so heavy. Let's check this out. Oh, yeah. You were right about that. Thank you. Tell me about it.
Let's see. What's my first experience with this song? Probably the movie Sgt. Pepper with the Bee Gees.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a campy, but there were moments of that song, that movie, that scared the shit out of me. Particularly the Alice Cooper scene, what was it? Where they're like brainwashing kids.
Okay.
How old were
Anyway,
you?
man, I don't know, 9,
Yeah.
maybe younger.
So the shit that sticks with us.
But
you know?
I remember there was a scene where that is playing, and I just remember being put into a trance. So then when I revisited the album later, I remember my dad was like, Abbey Road's. There's two types of people.
Right.
There's Revolver or Abbey Road
Right.
people.
Right.
Mhm.
And that's just all there is to it.
Right.
Well, I'm an Abbey Road guy, and my dad was an Abbey Road guy. And this song and Because, and Here Comes the Sun are my favorite Beatles songs of all time. Because and this one, I don't know which one I like more, but I'm pretty sure I like this one for the specific reason that there's this little story about how they just kept playing the end until the tape ran out, and that's why it ends
It
that
ends,
way.
it has that, yeah.
Yeah, and I dig that. They probably would have been playing it today
Right.
if they were on Pro
On
Tools.
digital?
Yeah, if they were on Pro Tools, it
Yeah.
just would have kept going, and I would have been fine with that because
Right.
it's funny how every turnaround, I feel like I don't get sick of it,
Right.
and I don't know what it is about that, but I don't get tired of that
It's a
refrain.
groove. Yeah, it's a groove.
And it seems like it changes slightly each turnaround. So I don't know, Lennon, McCartney,
Yeah.
they do it up.
Yeah, and I understand that it's credited to both of them, but apparently Lennon wrote this for Yoko.
I mean, it's heavy in the heart.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I can feel that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. The Beatles, I Want You.
Run for cover.
All right, back into hip hop, 1980s. Eric B and Rakim, Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em LP. Love this album. You were debating between Run for Cover and Untouchables, but since they're right next to each other on the track list,
Both of them.
there we go.
Run for Cover is usually the one I do first.
Yeah. So, give us a little background on this.
Wait.
Oh yeah, the drums.
Oh, good old Tony Alvin and the Bel Airs.
Yep. Sexy coffee pot.
Yep.
Yep.
So this album is a collaboration between one of my favorite producers and one of my favorite rappers,
Right.
Large Professor,
Yeah.
who
Okay.
ghost produced this album entirely. I'm pretty sure. And my friend Anton Puchansky engineered it.
Third time he's been mentioned on this show.
Okay.
Yeah, this is awesome. But
And-
Anton's become like a legend
Yeah,
on this show.
yeah,
but let's continue.
Anton engineered the first Ozomali album. That's
Yeah.
how I know him.
Okay.
And him and T-Ray were kind of like the production team.
Right.
And so anyway, let me go back and kind of set this up. So the first session I walk in for Ozo doing cuts, Anton sees the stickers on the 1200 that I bought in '84 that has all these stickers on it from over the years.
Right.
And he sees the Organized Confusion sticker on it. He goes, "Hey, I know those guys." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." I just totally brush them off.
Right.
Like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, pal.
Right.
You don't know this group.
Right.
Like, no. I know that group because I worked on that album. And I'm just like, and he goes, "Yeah, I played keys on it. I played bass on this, and slowly I figured out that he was behind all my favorite rap records.
Right.
Wow.
Wanted Dead or Alive, G-Rap. He's playing the
Streets of New York.
Streets of New York,
Yep.
and Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em.
Right.
The first Organized album.
Halftime.
The
Nas.
Nas stuff. He did helped do the Nas demos.
Yep.
He did Source breaking out.
Right.
Yep.
He's playing bass on Snake Eyes
Yeah.
and engineering the album. Anyway, so he's telling me about all this stuff. I'm like, holy shit. And he's talking to me about this record and particularly about how he mixed it. And you might figure like, this album probably could use a little touch up in the mix.
Yeah, it's a little rough.
A little rough.
Yeah.
Well, they were under the gun by MCA. They needed to turn it in. They had to turn it in. And I can't remember the amount of time, but it broke down to like they had 45 minutes for each song to be mixed.
Really?
Yeah, so they had 45 minutes a song to mix, to mix each song, and then they had to turn it in. So I was like, what, are there any stems or instrumentals? She's like, no, we just put it to dad.
Wow.
So and under those circumstances, I think it sounds pretty damn good.
Yeah, but you were. I mean, before you knew all this, you were exposed to this song, probably.
Oh yeah, when it came out.
Yeah. So tell us, give us some insight on that and why this was special to you, maybe during that period.
You know, because like I said, I didn't know who Large Professor was at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think. But the album before this, I wasn't too keen on the music.
Right.
The album before?
The Follow the Leader album. Now, I love Follow the Leader, the song.
Right.
Had Microphone Fiend on it.
Right,
Yeah,
and there were a few good ones. You know, 45 King.
Right.
Yeah.
People got behind a couple songs. But, you know, a lot of the synth stuff I wasn't into. And so I was like, if it would be great if there was an album that had the kind of production I like with Rakim. Well, this was that album.
Right.
Finally.
That does sound, yeah.
And so, yeah, when I bought it, and I remember I took a road trip up California to Santa Cruz because I just graduated high school in '90, and was listening to this album all the way up there, and was really enjoying the shit out of it. I was like, finally, man. And you know, then 45 King comes back for the remix of Let the Rhythm Hit 'Em and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a few recurring players. And what's up with the Paul C connection? I mean, is some of this stuff maybe this one?
You tell
Paul
me.
C has hands on some of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
All right.
I think that.
Yeah, you got the inside track. Yeah.
I don't want to speak out of turn.
All right. Oh, so you're posing a question to the ether.
Yeah, pretty much.
The comments section, please.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know, it's hard to say because Paul C was he had his hands in so many things.
Right.
That things that came later after he had passed were surfacing. You know, like there's an Organized Confusion demo where, you know, I think he was involved with some of it.
Right.
Large Professor, I think, was, you know, learning from Paul C as well.
Right.
So I'm always curious to see, like, or to hear what he actually put his hands on.
Yeah.
You know, after he had passed.
All right, so now we're into Untouchables.
Which I think this song is respect due to Large Professor, but I think this one is heavily influenced by another song on my list.
Okay.
All right.
We're gonna.
So should we get into that one?
No,
let's segue into that. So.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
This was brung by the forces of nature.
All right, y'all. Get ready.
All right, next up we have Jungle Brothers, Done by the Forces of Nature LP, and your cut on here is the title track, Done by the Forces of Nature. This is the second time this album was on the show. Blockhead picked Feeling Alright off of this.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. And
the segue you were talking about into it?
Yeah, so I mean, listen to that.
Drums?
Well, it's the same drums. It's
Yeah.
Untouchable for sure. It's the Young Holt. But then also just the bass lines, you know, it's the upright bass.
Right.
And then the little chimes in the beginning of Untouchable. You got a little bit of that vibe after Africa and his famous.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes.
So, I mean, he was definitely feeling the shit out of this song.
Right.
I want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely influential.
And I think, again, out there, correct me if I'm wrong, I think this might be the first rap song to ever use an upright bass sample.
Could possibly be.
Name one
What's
sooner.
what's the most famous one though? It's also by
Any Tribe.
Eric B. and Rakim. Juice, Know the Ledge. Wouldn't
Okay.
you say that? Yeah. So when were you exposed to Jungle Brothers?
Right from jump.
Yeah.
Jim Browski.
Yeah.
You know, I was I can't remember the first place I heard Jim Browski, but or Bragging and Boasting, or which one came first. I bought Straight Out the Jungle the day it came out at Crane's Records on Pico in Los Angeles, and that was the day my life changed because I was like, oh, you can make records out of just records?
Yeah.
I'm fucking down.
I'm
going to do this. I know what I'm going to do for the rest of my life now because I have records.
Yeah.
I can do. All I got to do is find some MCs.
Right.
Yeah.
That dude Charlie Tuna, see if he can do it. Mark 7, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe they can get on.
I know
cut
those
up,
guys.
Cut up a couple records, have them throw a rap on it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did.
Nice.
Our whole premise in our early days was based off pretty much just riffing off JB's, like dance and think type curriculum. So
Yeah. All right.
I always felt this was one of the best. For me, it's like top 10 albums, like maybe top 5. Like,
Yeah.
And I always felt that Warner Brothers was new to the rap game, and they had this monster of a group, but they didn't know how to. And you saw that in the early days when people would get a record. The Diamond E record was another one. Like I thought, like you guys don't know what to do.
The
Like,
Mercury. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Pete,
Yeah.
like this and Paul's Boutique, same year,
Yeah,
major label fuck ups,
Right.
majorly.
and they're regarded as two of
yes,
rap's biggest influences. I mean,
Yep.
for
Yeah.
me, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This you couldn't think of a better like Star Wars Empire type of like evolution
1-2 punch,
from
right.
Straight Out the Jungle to this.
Right.
yeah.
I can't say which one I like better. Probably this one, but you can't have this album without that album.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a perfect companion piece. And then you can say whatever you want. JB's with the Remedy. That's just a weird record. I love it. And I think it reinvents themselves, but. And plus, this is Juju's first beat from Beat
Oh,
Nuts.
from Beat Nuts?
Oh, it is?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like loose. I remember that was when the Beat Nuts were kind of like, are they native tongue or are they not native tongue?
Yeah, I mean, there was so many. That's the thing that made this album so good too, because you had Tawate involved,
Right.
Beat Nuts, and so many different people were coming in and out of the door.
Right.
Right.
That the recipe for success is always greater when you do that.
Yeah. All right, Jungle Brothers, done by the forces of nature. Next up, we have Main Source, Breaking Atoms. Speaking of Large Professor, and you were kind of bugging on the Vinyl Me Please reissue.
Yeah. What is this brain on drug shit?
Yeah, I think it's Atoms supposed to be splitting
Breaking
apart.
my brain.
You didn't
Yeah.
like the egg on there?
Yeah.
Your cut on here was Snake Eyes, which starts off with that Ike Turner sample that you guys also used on Concrete Schoolyard.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. I think when I bought the Ike Turner, I was like, oh, it's that Main Source shit.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, just a couple bars after that.
I'll take that.
I'll take that one. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, this was what a great start to a great album.
Totally.
One of my favorites.
Yeah.
Probably I would say within the top 5 for sure.
Right.
So funky.
Yeah, I mean, so many great things to say about this record. Obviously, Nas' first appearance live at the barbecue.
Right.
We actually had this when we had Bob James on the show. We brought this out for the Nautilus sample in there. But yeah, give us your story on this.
Let's see, 91. Played the shit out of it in the summer. Again, that thing that I was talking about that I love so much, where you find samples that are from different records that just go so well together.
Right.
Large Professor was really good at that.
Totally.
Particularly in this song, he uses. Now, I don't want to bust anybody on samples, but there's a bridge in this song.
It's all out there.
Yeah. So the Jesse Anderson 45 that comes in the bridge is so dope because it changes key,
Right.
and then comes back to the Watermelon Man Johnny Taylor sample, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just kind of genius. It's simple, but
Right.
at the same time, it's rare that you hear things go together like that have nothing to do with each other from the source.
Totally.
When you were listening to records back in '91, when you were listening, did you hear this stuff then?
Well, I didn't
you-
know what
oh,
the
like-
sample sources were, but I knew that they were other records being put together that
and
way.
you could tell, oh, that's different key. Oh, it came back.
Yeah, because my friend and I were doing the same thing.
Okay.
Back then.
Okay.
With just other records, but we were like, oh, that guy's good at what we're trying to do. Like, he's
Right,
better
right,
at it.
right.
We're trying to get like him, right?
Okay,
Kind of
okay.
thing. And then Hanging Out is a great example of, Bomb Bomb with the Vanessa Kendrick,
Yeah.
creating
Okay.
a great marriage together, and they're two completely different records
Totally.
that have nothing to do with
Totally,
each
yeah.
other. So anytime that happened, which is few and far between back then, here's that lovely
Yeah.
bridge where it's
Yeah.
like, this is corny ass flute.
Right.
Yeah.
Corny.
Yeah, not
And
at
then-
all.
Yeah.
Fucking brilliant, man. And then, let's also not forget how important Anton's bass playing is on this, because
Yeah.
it really glues the Johnny Taylor sample together with the
Yeah.
beat. So it's like, these guys really spent time in the studio going, all right, let's make a different kind of record that's
Right.
we want to make, it's not even a rap record, it's a funk record.
Okay.
You know?
Totally.
So,
Yeah, and it was
big up
good
to
to-
Extra P on that.
Good to see him finally get his due after doing all that ghost producing for Eric B. and Rakim. And,
Totally.
I mean. this
Oh,
was-
yeah. And talking to Anton about, those days and watching Paul
Yeah.
doing those Let the Rhythm Hit Him sessions, like coming after school with his backpack on.
Right.
I told him just, that dude just was all about the music.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
With a crate of records, he went straight to work,
Yeah.
It was great hearing that.
Main source, Breaking Atoms LP, starting off with Snake Eyes, getting into Just Hanging Out. Next up, Midnight Express soundtrack, Giorgio Moroder, and your cut on here is The Chase, which...
Everybody's cut. is
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
here.
Well, yeah,
it's,
right.
it's the only cut.
Yeah.
Ah,
on
man,
here.
my cut is that one where he strip searched.
So, I was reading up on this, and obviously, Donna Summer, I Feel Love came first, and that was largely credited as like the first electronic music song or dance music
It's
song.
a big deal, man.
Yeah, and so the director of this film basically went to Giorgio and was like, I want something like I Feel Love. And so he's like, okay, and this is what came out.
Well, this is I thought they were the same song actually
Yeah.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
They
All right.
sound exactly the same. to me.
Yeah.
But when I chose this song, I was like, did I really just say that? And it's because I just did a disco party.
Nice.
At the Hollywood Forever Cemetery in Los Angeles
Yeah.
for Saturday Night Fever, and I played this, and I don't know, something about like where we were at the night, and like the fog started coming. Everybody was dancing. At the
Yeah.
same time,
Uh-huh.
And we had one of those light up floors.
Yeah.
And I just had a really weird experience, out of body experience, where I just was
Ooh.
This is
going through the fog and flying. I wasn't on no drugs, man. I swear.
You don't need it. All you need
Yeah, I
is
know.
to
Yeah.
get into the groove of
But
this.
also, they I don't know if anybody used to listen to West of the Rockies, that
Yeah.
Art Bell show.
Yeah.
And, well, this was their theme song.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
every time growing up in the house when my mom would listen to crazy conspiracy
Conspiracy
theories,
theory
in the middle of
shit,
the night,
right?
this would be playing in the background.
That's why probably.
And that's
right.
why I love
That's
it.
probably
All
it.
that seeping in. And I mean, it's a great film too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Unless not forget that this is the dude that did the organ donor sample, right?
Oh yeah. Yep. And
So-
also, I think Harold Faltermeyer played on this record.
Oh, no
Axel
shit.
F. Yeah. I think that's credited on here.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
wow.
Somewhere on here. But anyway, how much you know about Casablanca Records?
Well, I mean, just all the releases.
Yeah.
It's a big deal for the disco era. You
Yeah.
have Bad Girl. You have YMCA.
Yeah,
those
yeah.
people. I mean,
Of course.
Yeah.
those are the big
yeah.
ones. And then
When I-
you got Parliament.
I'm referring specifically to the cocaine.
Oh, talk to me. What's up?
No, I just understand that this label was fueled on cocaine.
What?
Like it was powered by
fucking label
cocaine.
in the 70s?
Yeah,
was it,
that
man?
probably-
Right, but
Has
this
to
was like Glaciers
The
of Ice,
king.
You
know.
mean this label was
Okay.
almost? Are you saying this was like a tax write-off for a cocaine business?
No, I'm saying the owner of this label,
The base
was
cocaine out. Yeah.
glass tables, the whole shit.
All right, yeah.
you know?
I mean, I
and
totally buy
it was just this was basically as far as record labels go, my understanding is that this label was the cocaine 80s
Well, it looks
and
like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
totally.
every time I look at this label, I'm just thinking that there's something.
There's some kind of
there's
drugs
a sordid
involved.
past
Right.
going
There's
on
something.
here, man.
There's some kind of drugs involved.
I mean,
period.
maybe it's like the neon shit, or
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I see that and I'm like, it makes me feel like I want to do coke. And I hate putting shit up my
Yeah.
nose, but I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe.
Hey,
Yeah,
man.
but you listen to this and you're like,
Don't play the
"Oh,
song
no."
again. Stop.
All right, Giorgio Moroder.
All right, that's enough
Chase.
of you.
Next up, the Sylvers 2. We Can Make It If We Try. And this is just a beautiful, soulful ballad. Mm.
You can't say shit until.
God damn.
It's a damn good song, man.
Timeless.
You know, I was hard pressed to figure out a soul song in my list.
Yeah.
And immediately I just said, you know, well, what soul record do I always put in my bag when I'm asked to play soul LPs? And this is it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's something very like Ooh Child about it.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, sure.
You know, sunshiny, like it has the kind of early 70s kind of like hippie kind of vibe to it, but
Right.
it also is adding like the production of like mid 70s,
Right.
even though it's like 73.
Right.
It's way ahead of its time.
Right.
Where things were headed,
Yeah.
where things were getting more technologically advanced on the recording tip, but yeah, it's just mixed so well.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful track. How were you exposed to it?
Yeah.
At what point?
I was probably going to Rhino sales, parking lot sales, and
Yeah.
I saw the Pride label, and I knew that the Incredible Bongo Band record was on that label.
Right, right.
Right.
So I don't even think that I had. I might have known about Misdemeanor at that point,
Okay.
but yeah, I just remember, you know, everything was $1 in those parking lot sales, so I picked it up. And this was the song. I was like, oh, you know, I was like, oh, the album's okay. Like, it's not like Incredible Bongo Band good.
Right.
Uh-huh.
but there's this one cut I really like on it. It's like kind of soulful and sweet.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, I don't know how old I was, but not that old, not that young, not that old.
Yeah. Very
Not old enough to fully appreciate this until later.
Right,
you
right.
know?
Okay.
I was like, wait, what's that one I kind of like about this album?
Yeah.
That nobody plays as much as Misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And I always consider them to be obviously like a Jackson's kind of ripoff.
Totally. Yeah.
But I don't know. I listen to this more than a lot of Jackson songs.
Yeah. All right, the Sylvers. We can make it if we try.
So hot. So hot. This is the sound of the 30s.
All right, bonus track. My pick. We have the Jurassic 5 Quality Control, the wood box. And my pick on here was specific to you because this is your kind of like your moment on this album to kind of shine with Newmark, but swing set. So this is kind of like that cut and paste Steinsky-ish kind of. Tell us about this.
Yeah, I think since our first underground release, Unified Revolution, I set a precedent to put a DJ song on every release.
Mm-hmm.
So back then it was Lesson 4, and then on the EP it was Lesson 6. And
Right.
then so when we did Quality Control, since Newmark and I were, being more involved in a collaborative sense,
Right.
I said, how about we do this one together? And I've been messing around with certain like Sandy Nelson records and shit,
Mhm.
like in DJ sets just to get kind of weird. But they were kind of funky.
Right.
And kind of dancey. So I had that bass line. I said, I want to use this as the bass for the song, and
Right.
let's build something around it. And so we spent a good, few months just going back and forth. Hey, I found this. Let's try this. Let's try that.
Yeah.
There's so much cutting room stuff that didn't get used that, when I go through my MPC discs, I'm like, oh shit. Like it's a whole other swing set.
Yeah. No, this is great. I mean, this is such a great punctuation to the album. You know what I mean? It's a fantastic album. I loved it when it came out. I still love it. And it was such a surprising ending because it was so different, to have a swing cut, essentially, a DJ-based swing cut at the end of this, great
Yeah, it was
record.
weird. I don't know if we, I don't know whose idea it was. I mean, I know that I provided that basis, that first sample, but I'm not sure which one of us was like, hey, let's do a swing track.
Right.
Because that kind of sounds like some Newmark shit.
Right.
Like, let's like do the swing shit all the way down to the bone.
Right.
Like see how far we can go.
You went all in on it.
Could this be the first hip hop record
that uses
with a swing?
Absolutely.
Oh, no,
No?
absolutely not. No, absolutely not, man. Wrong answer. No way. Not Kings of Swing. Who's the guy that sounds
Dream
like
Warriors?
Chuck D? No.
I can't. I can't.
Who's the guy?
That's right,
The
that's
hell
what-
of a man. What's that guy? The band and show. The James Brown guy. on this Young Black Teenagers label.
Oh, Son of Berserk.
Son of Berserk.
Isn't that kind of didn't he have some kind of swingy shit?
Oh, I didn't listen to that shit.
That means I do. I just listened to Son of Berserk a couple years ago.
Actually,
Well, somebody did. Somebody did some swing shit.
I don't think. Yeah, no, because that means the Bomb Squad would have done this.
and the Bomb Squad produced that Son of Berserk album.
Yes.
Well, I'm not saying it was like.
Now I wanna go
swing,
check it.
But I mean, there's swing elements. I don't know.
I
I'm just probably just
I'm
thinking-
I'm trying to help you out.
I know.
I'm trying to sell some boxes.
And I'm like, you definitely want this box.
Yeah.
I'm trying to sell some
This
boxes.
beautiful housed in this oak wood casing.
Yeah.
From Get On Down.
Speaking of which,
Beautifully mastered.
look, I want to see the original J5 EP with a jean cover. With
Oh,
real,
shit.
real
Yeah.
jeans on it, motherfucker.
Real denim.
Yes.
Yes.
Can we get that,
on
please?
It, fellas. Let's get on it. The denim reissue of the J5
Yeah.
EP. Ouch.
And I want the vinyl to be denim.
Yo, I want the motherfucking Power Numbers reissue to be out of people. Like actual motherfucking people.
Exactly.
Flesh. I want flesh on DNA.
DNA. All right. Jurassic 5 swing set.
Okay. We're gonna go a little something like this.
All right, final bonus track of the evening, Cut Chemist Die Cut album. I didn't even know this was die cut on the sleeve. Pretty nice.
man.
Yeah, I like it.
Deep game. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't
It's
even
not
know.
denim though.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't actually know it's out.
Yeah. Well, now you know. So, you got a collab with the diabolical Biz Marquee,
That's
Moonlighting
right.
with Biz.
Yeah, because the biz never sleeps.
Yeah. And the title obviously taken from Just Rhyming with Biz.
Actually,
No?
I didn't even think of that.
Huh.
The sample is called Moonlight
Okay.
by Apple and the Three Oranges, and so I thought, I'm going to clear the fucking thing.
Right.
I might as well jack the title while I'm at it, right?
Yeah.
Thanks, Egon.
Shout out.
Yeah, so this was a fun one. I've known Biz for a very long time.
Yeah.
He used to come to LA when he was doing Living Color episodes.
Mhm.
And I used to drive him around in my mom's caddy
Nice.
to go record shopping.
Yeah.
And
Keep going. This is
and
great.
so, the energy of this song just comes from like that kind of just hanging out, going to the candy shop,
Yeah.
buying records, talking shit.
Right.
I was like, what happened to those rap songs?
Right.
And so, in a while ago, this was like, let's do a joint. And I was like, really? Okay. And I played him all these beats.
Yeah.
Hated all of them.
Yeah.
And he was like, there was this one little snippet of an interlude before the beat. And he's like, I don't forget your beat, but the thing that you play before that's the hit. That's the song.
Wow.
So if you loop that, I'll rap over it. So I did. And it had some vocals in it. I had to chop around them
Yeah.
and stuff. And I gotta say, Biz has an exceptional ear
Right.
when it comes to hits. And when you think about all the samples that he's rapped over and all the credit that goes to other people and all this, there's a lot of things that you hear.
Right.
Oh, I'm responsible for this, I'm responsible for this. But when I listened to him and how he was reacting to different samples, I'm like, you know what? It's a good chance that Biz is actually the mastermind behind a lot of the
Cold
records
Chillin'
being
or
chosen.
The chosen.
Right.
Okay.
To be sampled. I'm not saying like he's making all the beats, but I'm like, he's probably like, yo,
That's the one
a
you
hit.
should.
Right.
That's a sample.
Right.
You should sample that. I hear like he did that with Blind Alley and stuff like that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but I hear, like I said, I hear things.
You
Yeah.
could just ask him. Right?
I could ask him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just like recent. There's
Okay.
this Cold Chillin' book coming out by my man Ben, and so you're gonna hear a lot of stories.
Ooh.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So now we're into Work My Mind. Is Charlie Tuna on this?
Charlie Tuna.
Yeah. Reuniting.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
Had to do a song with my man.
Yeah.
We go back to 1987.
Yeah.
Back in those pre-Jungle Brothers days,
Yeah.
actually, and so him being the one I've known the longest, I thought it was important to get him involved and finally do a track together.
Right.
I tried to on my last album, but it just didn't. The nature of that album was it didn't really work. What I was trying to say as far as like a solo artist, it There's very little rap. I think there's only 2 rap songs
Right,
on the
right.
record. And so this one is a lot more, obviously, and I wanted Tuna to be a part of that dialogue. So
Yeah. All right. So the new album's Die Cut. What else you got? What else can we look forward to?
well, Charlie, Tuna, and I are just started doing some shows together.
Awesome.
All right.
This is the 20-year anniversary of Brainfreeze. So
Whoa.
You never know.
What might pop up?
Yeah. You still got those 7-Eleven
I wonder.
Yes, I do. I got the
You know,
name
I think I
tags.
have an idea. I'm not going to say anything, but you know, you might want to make a few calls.
We're definitely going to make a few calls. It's always the 20-year anniversary. It's never
Right.
the 10.
Right.
You know, but when 20 happens, it's time to do something because it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So so there's that. Ozone Motley just dropped a new single
Yeah.
with Charlie Tuna and myself. So it seems like a lot of bands are getting back together.
Yeah. I like it.
Some bands aren't getting back together, but some are. You know what I mean? So we're trying to
Wow.
keep it busy for 2019.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. That is it. This is Let the Record Show. I'm Mike Pizzo.
I'm Warren Peace.
Thank you, Cut Chemist.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And everyone go get the Die Cut album. It's right
Right
here.
there.
Yeah,
There
it
it
looks
is.
like that.
Yep. In real life, it looks like this.
Yep.
Digital, just use your imagination.
Yep.
And yeah,
Just
go
take a
from there.
picture of it. Put
Yeah.
it up
Snap it.
again. Yeah, take
Yeah.
a picture. real quick.
Screenshot it.
Yeah, there you
All
go. Ready? All right, cool.
Peace.
Yeah, yeah. Testing.